Hey, this is Steven from LegitTechTutorials, and welcome to Beginning HTML5 tutorial number 13, and we're going to talk about making tables. So, I'm pretty sure you know what a table looks like. You have the, for example, what you do a certain time of day for a week, a calendar. A calendar is a table. You have the days, and then you have the month and the date number, that type of thing. So we're going to learn how to make tables in HTML, and this is a really great practice, and we'll see how most of HTML is a lot similar on all of its layouts, as you'll see from here in the picture and the pictures and the text, and as well as the ordered list and unordered list. Alright, so first tag we're going to look at is the table tag. Oops. Now you see that turns like a weird color. And then we have a table row, which is the first row. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a 3x3 matrix, as computer science people call it, but we're going to call it a 3x3 table. And then you're going to have the table data. The table data in there, and you see that actually Dreamweaver is doing a very, very good job of indenting this out. I'm very, very pleased. So let's say we're going to do like 1, and then we're going to close table data. Wow, it's actually indenting. You'd think that something like this would be found in Aptana, but it's doing a pretty good job here. I don't think I updated it, so I don't know why. That kind of failed there, but anyways. So now you see we have the first table row, and that means that this guy is going to go across the first. These are going to go from left to right, so it's going to say 1, 2, 3, and then so these are rows, and then columns are the ones that go vertically, and rows are the ones that go horizontally. So here is horizontally, and here is okay, let's start that again. This is vertically, and this is horizontally. So in this case, it's going to be saying 1, 2, 3 like that. Let me delete these rows. Okay, then we're going to start the next table row. And like I said, this is a horizontal row, and now it just fails to indent. So we're going to say 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to end the table row. And then we're going to do the final table row. We're going to have table data, and we're going to say 7. Oops. Okay, now it indented. That's good. 8, 9, and we're going to end the table row. And then we're going to end the table. And let's see what we got. Oops. Alright. And there it's showing us in the design, it's showing us the grid lines there, which is pretty cool. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, you could drag it in the design, but let's just have it as live. So this is probably what you would see in, so this is live. I set it to live in Dreamweaver, so this is what you would see inside of a browser. As you see here, these are table rows. So it goes 1, 2, 3 with the horizontal, 4, 5, 6 with the horizontal, and 7, 8, 9 with the horizontal. Alright, now that we went over that, we're going to talk about table headings. So first thing we're going to want to do is modify this guy. Oops. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is, of course, in order to get a table, that first column is going to only have the headers in it. So technically the first table heading is going to be empty because that doesn't have any data. I mean, you could say headings in there, but that is usually not how it's practiced. Alright, so first thing we're going to want to do actually is that these are going to be in its own table row because they're the top, right? So we have table row, and then we're going to go in and say that we have a table heading, which is TH. And the first table heading is going to be empty. Second table heading is going to have a scope. Now this attribute is saying what it's going to be, and we want this to spread down the column. So we're going to give it the column value in the attribute, and then we're going to say let's just call it ones, and then you're going to close the TH. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Column. Just going to spread through the column, and we're going to call it these twos table heading, and that is looking good. And we're going to close the table row, close that table row, and then once we jump into, now in each table row you're going to add the heading for that table row. So we're going to say, you're going to say table heading scope is now row, because we're spanning across the row, and we're going to say we're going to skip 3. We'll be like 4s, and then jump down here. I could copy and paste that, but you know, whatever. We're going to get that muscle memory in by typing it in. I don't know how good Aptana is for you guys right now, but this is definitely giving me a workout, making me remember what I'm writing in. This is very good practice, actually. I would suggest, if you want to get really good at it, type live code into Dreamweaver, because it doesn't format it too much. Alright, so, oops, I forgot one more table heading. So good thing I actually skipped 3s. Okay, there we go. So here we have the column scope. So here's the 1's column, the 2's column, the 3's column, and then you have the 4's row, the 5's row, and the 6's row. So if you want, you could call this X, Y components, I guess. And we'll actually do that here in a second. We're going to span multiple rows with the table head, as well as spanning multiple rows with some of the data that's in there. So let's say that we have this table heading, right? And what we want to do is we're going to want to, let me see if this attribute works for this guy. So let's say we get rid of all these. We say, for example, let's say this is a Cartesian coordinates. So we're going to say that this is the X and this is the Y. This is the X and this is the Y. So when it's 1, yeah. It doesn't really make any sense now I'm thinking about it, but you know, whatever. So then we're going to have we're going to say column span is equal to 3. So now it spans all 3 columns, as you see there, and that's the column span attribute. And then we're going to span the rows. So row span down here for, we're going to get rid of these table headings. And then we're going to go row, and then we're going to say span row, row span equals 3 rows. And there you go. Now, oops. Y. Now it's spanning the 3 rows. So now what we're going to want to do is we'll do even, I guess, a second table to show you. Oops. A second table. We'll just copy this guy and we'll modify it. Now I don't want to, you know, I'm not going to retype in the whole thing. And then we'll give it a horizontal line break. Or just break. was on the line break. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is have one of these particular guys span one of the rows. So just like you saw here, we're going to get it to, as you saw, this particular attribute is going to work on both table heads and table data. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these guys, and we're going to do the exact same thing that we did here, and we're going to say we want to span, col span equals, equals 3. And now it should be, what did I do? Row, it's column span. Wait, where did I just edit it? Let me try this guy down here too. Column span equals 3 columns. Okay, so I think what the problem is that there's not really a column here. So maybe if I push it 1 over, so let's say table data is just blank. Interesting. So let's get rid of that spanning the row here with these guys. Let's get rid of the headers in general. And then we'll get rid of this last table row, and we'll utilize this. Actually, copy. Okay, so we're going to say like 7, 8, 9. For some reason in Dreamweaver, it might be just causing a problem with that. It doesn't want to indent it. Probably because we're not really letting it... maybe if I go into design, split, get rid of live. Okay, so there you can see it is spanning the 3 columns, but for some reason it's just not setting it in the center, but you could do that in CS. So let's go back, and just like that, previously you could also just change this guy to row span, and we'll just get rid of these. And technically, if you go, I did it again. This is worth 3 rows, but there's no rows there to span. All right. Yeah, so we're going to move on to long tables. Now, what you could do, we're going to go back here and get rid of all this stuff. And then we're going to go into what we're going to do to set up a long table for formatting depending on the browser. Now, what you have first is you have the table element. Then you have the table head element, which basically has the table rows inside the table head. So let's go ahead and indent the table rows. Oops, that didn't work right. So the reason why we have the table head is so that supposedly if you have a certain browser and you scroll down, the table head will stay there, will follow it, so you could see what if it takes a whole page or longer, you could see still what the columns mean by looking at the table heads here. So here we're going to get rid of. We're going to go back to having the we'll just say like X1, and we'll type it out all the way. Okay, so now we have X1, X2, that, and then we're going to close the table head. And then after you have the table head, right after you have the T body. And then at the very end of the T body, right here, you're going to have the end of the body. And then you're going to right after have, oops, you're going to have the T foot. Now, what is the T foot? The T foot is what you would see on a table such as money. So you would have, oopsies, you would have this here, and then you would have, for example, like the sum or the dividend or the product. So, for example, let's go ahead and do one of those T foots. So we're going to say table row, and then we're going to go TD, nothing. And then we're going to say, oops, TD, nothing. And then we're going to say TD, and we're going to say, what is 12? And we're going to say TD, 15, and TD, oops, 15, 16, 17, 18. Sorry if my math's wrong in there. And then we're going to close the table foot. And there you have it. But of course I don't have a horizontal line break. So what I could do here is do a horizontal, oops, horizontal line. Let me try do a first table row, second table row, table data. I don't know, I'm just messing around right now. See if I can get that too. It doesn't want to add that line, so that line could be added in CSS, but it gives you that little indent, so you can see here that we have the table foot. So then again, it goes table head. Close the table head after you have the first set of table headings that scope the column. So we have 3 columns here. The first column is empty. Make sure you have this in there because the first column's got to be empty. And then we have at the end of the table head. Then we jump into table body. And now we have this column spanning 3, the Y, and here we have all the information there. And then that ends the table body. Then you have the table foot, and the table foot is the bottom if you have that. Otherwise, if you don't, just have the table foot and have nothing in there. and this guy is showing the end, the addition there. Alright, so that's basically it for tables, and yeah, it's something that we're definitely going to get some practice on. We'll try to see if we get it to work a little better in Dreamweaver and see what we come up with. So yeah, this has been Steven from LegitTechTutorials. Thank you for watching my HTML5 tutorial. If you like my videos, please subscribe for more videos like it for this series and other series like it. And if you have any questions, email me, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.